Do you want to know how amazing people connect? Well, you're in the right place. Welcome to Marketing with Russ, aka #RussSelfie.
Thanks for connecting. And if you like what you hear, please share.
Special shout out to our sponsors, the Boulder Falls Inn of Lebanon, Oregon, and Southpaw's Perfect Pizza in Albany, Oregon. For more information on Boulder Falls Inn and their amazing conference center facility, call 541-451-1000. And for more information on Southpaw's Perfect Pizza and their amazing pizza in Albany, go to southpawspizza.com. Just moving and grooving. Love that music. Man, I am a little partial to that. Hey, everybody, this is Russ Hedge. Welcome to Marketing with Russ, aka #RussSelfie. Yes, my son, Connor, writes and produces all the music for my shows. Love that. It's great to have somebody in the family that does that for a profession. That is always awesome. So anyway, I am just so glad to have you all here today on Marketing with Russ, aka #RussSelfie. I am here every Monday and Thursday at 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time for your viewing and listening pleasure with amazing people. And that is going to be the case today for sure. We have Michael Hersh with us today. I'm so excited to bring him on today. But before we do that, just going to do a few things. As you can tell, I am remote. I am not in my normal location, but I'm so blessed to have people that bless me with their offices all around the area where I'm at. And so I have all kinds of places I can go to live stream while I'm moving around. So that is great. And listen, this show, as I always tell you, is about how amazing people connect. And we definitely have one of those amazing people on today. And, you know, life is all about connection and community building. You know, sometimes people ask me, well, connection, how amazing people connect. What does that have to do with marketing? Well, everything it does. It has everything to do with marketing, because connection and community building is the foundation for any good marketing plan, any good business, really any good life. If you want to know more about that, the best way to find out about me is to go to russhedge.com. Russhedge.com is a place. All of my information about social media, about my phone number, my YouTube, anything you need is there, right? You can even schedule time directly on my calendar to connect with me. And I love to connect with people. I'm all about connection. I just had an amazing connection with a new friend out of Colombia this morning, and just so thankful for those connections. Also, would love to have you subscribe on YouTube. Why? Well, first of all, we'd love to have you join our community and subscribe. But number two, it gives you all the past content from the amazing shows that we've had here on Marketing with Russ. And next month, I'm coming up on number 300. So I've had a lot of amazing guests on here. So would love to have you subscribe there. Plus, it gives you notices about upcoming shows as well. So it's just a great place to be. And it just kind of logs it all together. You know, on the social media platforms we broadcast on, LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube, they're all amazing. But sometimes it's hard to find it on other social media, where on YouTube, it's all kind of right there. a little library of information. So I'd love to have you go there. The best way to get there to my YouTube page is to go to marketingwithruss.live. You can right now click on that. Click on marketingwithruss.live and just go there, subscribe. You'll be all good to go. I'd appreciate that. Also, if you would share this show out, start tagging your friends, telling them, hey, Marketing with Russ and Michael are on. You got to come watch this. It's going to be amazing. So that would be great if you could do that. Share this out or tag your friends. I'd really appreciate that. Last but not least, if you haven't got your copy already of my book, Befuddled, Live the Life You Choose, I'd love to have you grab a copy of that. Normally it's right behind me, but you know what? I just happen to have a copy of it right here, prepping for an upcoming keynote that I have. And so if you have not got your copy, it's a great way to be encouraged and to really learn how to live the life you choose when you are having struggles and challenges in life or when things are going good. So love to have you get that. It's on Amazon, or you go to russhedge.com and pick it up also. And that would be great. So I think I've rambled on long enough. We're going to get Michael in here and get the show started. Good morning, Michael.
Good morning, Russ. How are you?
I am good. As you could tell, I haven't really even had coffee this morning. Mornings are my time. I have lots of energy. So,
Amazing.
Glad to have you here this morning. So we're just going to start off with you. Tell everybody a little bit about Michael and what you got going in life and what's happening right now.
Fantastic. Well, first, I want to just start by saying thank you for having me on, for welcoming me into your community. I know that connection and community is such a big part of what you do. And so I just want to thank you. And wow, almost 300 episodes. That's incredible. And early congratulations on that.
Thank you.
I'm Michael Hersh. I'm a physician. I'm a gastroenterologist, and I live in Chicago. I'm married. I have 2 young children, and I'm also a physician coach. And I found physician coaching when I was kind of experiencing my own journey with burnout and trying to figure out, kind of where I was going in my career and kind of how I saw things moving forward. And I wasn't really sure what to do. And so I kind of almost stumbled on physician coaching, and it completely changed the trajectory of my life. And it was so transformative that I then decided to become a coach myself to kind of spread the message and make sure that there were male physicians in the space that were out there talking about the importance of this work. And so that's why I'm here.
Well, that is so incredible, all the things you're doing, because a lot of times coming out of the struggles we have in life, like you talked about burnout, our good friend, Dr. Noopy, same issues, other people who have come out of these burnout issues and really been able to speak into other physicians or just other people in general's lives and find out, how can you overcome that? How can you move beyond that? And having that experience yourself gives you that really capital to be able to speak to people. I've been through this. I know what this is like. And you're doing a lot of great things. Didn't you just get a podcast started too?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks. Yeah. So it's 1 day old. Just launched a podcast called Doctors Living Deliberately. So it's a podcast and a YouTube channel. So for people that prefer to consume their content in videos, they can see my face. And my co-host, Dr. Arpita Gupta DePalma. We are really, when you talk about community and connection, the reason that's so important and where this podcast was born from is, as doctors are kind of going through our training, we are surrounded by a community. So we're, in college and medical school, and even in our residency and fellowship training, we're surrounded by other people, and we form these incredible connections. And then we get through our training and we're kind of, thrust out into society to basically function on our own. And you kind of lose the community. And in my mind, that was one of the kind of biggest factors that I think led to a lot of the burnout that I experienced, because you kind of feel alone in the process and you feel like everything that you're experiencing is just yours. And you don't realize how common all of these things are. And one of the most important kind of things that I've learned through all of this was the power of community, because when I found coaching, I found community. And I remember sitting in some of my group coaching calls at the very beginning of my experience and just hearing other doctors talk about their experience and just realizing, oh wow, this it's not just me. All of these people, that we're all experiencing the same thing. And so our goal with the podcast and the YouTube was really to help other physicians see that number one, there's so much commonality in our day-to-day experiences, and you're not alone. And number two, to show doctors that, you're not stuck in this one box that we kind of build for ourselves, where you define yourself as a physician and nothing else. Really, the world is so open, and you just get to decide how you want to live it, and the things that you want to do with the experiences that you've had. And so that's kind of our thought behind this new show. So that's where that is.
Well, it's interesting because that is so important. Number one, people are not alone. They don't realize how many people are going through what they're going through, and having that commonality, be able to come together. A good example of that was back when COVID hit. Everybody had a common problem. And so they realized quickly they were not alone. And that really helped a lot of people through that. But a lot of times in life, you're going through things and you do feel alone. You feel isolated. And that makes it tough because you're afraid to reach out to people because you think, they don't want to hassle with that. I'm the only one going through this thing. And you realize that people really want to come together in community. They really want to support each other, especially through the things you're talking about. And I love that you're using this platform, being able to podcast and get it out there and bring people together. Because whether you're in medicine or whether you're in marketing and sales, or no matter what you're in, people are experiencing burnout. People are experiencing high levels of anxiety and all kinds of things that are going with that. It's so important for them to know. So how do you start that process? With all that you're doing, other than the podcasting, those kind of things, what other things are you doing to reach out to people?
Yeah, I think so. Burnout is an interesting word, because if you talk to most doctors, like, it's not a word that we embrace, because burnout tends to be something that can frequently be used by hospital administrators or leadership. That's one aspect of it. And then the other aspect of it is that burnout shows up so differently for different people, right? So some people experience a lot of anger and frustration. Other people just feel withdrawn. Other people feel kind of aimless, or maybe hopeless. Some people just kind of lose the joy and the fulfillment in what they're doing. And so it doesn't look the same for everyone. So the answer to your question is trying to open up people's minds to what that experience is, and knowing that it is not one thing, that your experience with this could be totally different than mine, and totally different than, say, Dr. Noopy's, right? And so just making sure that people are aware that my journey and your journey don't have to be the same, but it doesn't mean it's not the same underlying issue, and that there is a way through it. That I think is the most important message.
Do you feel like people today, I see this in so many areas of life, people are trying to live the life that they're supposed to live, that people have told them the way it's supposed to go. People are telling what you should do all the time. We were talking the other day about people shoulding all over you, because you should do this, you should do that. This is the box you fit in. This is how life goes. You're a doctor. You got to do all these things. You're a live streamer. This is exactly the way it works. And we're going to tell you how it works and what you should do. And don't you find that raises that anxiety and that increases opportunities for burnout?
Oh my gosh, so much. So I think when you are talking to any high level professional, anyone who has done a lot of work, gotten to a high point in their career, it is just so steeped with expectation of how things are supposed to be, how you should be showing up, the things that you should be doing. And absolutely, when you are doing things out of expectation and should, you end up not showing up authentically, right? You don't do things in the most genuine way, in the way that you want to be showing up in the world. You do things because you think that that's what you're supposed to do. And there's no doubt in my mind that that is a huge, fan on the flame of burnout, because you're not doing things in the way that you really want and are hoping to. You also forget to start setting new goals, right? You think that, oh, I've done this thing, I've gone through medical school, I'm a physician, and this is it, right? And you forget, like, well, the reason that you were so fulfilled and felt so accomplished before was because you set this goal of becoming a doctor and getting through your medical school and your residency and fellowship. Those were all goals for you. And you don't have to stop making goals just because you've accomplished the thing that you wanted to do. And that, I think, is another big aspect of kind of burnout resolution is goal setting and purpose-driven goals.
Well, and I think there you go. You just hit it on the head too, is that having that purpose and that why in your life as to why you're doing things helps you kind of set those boundaries and those parameters around that keep you healthier, both in mind, body, and soul. I think if you know where you're going and why you're going there, then when people should all over you and when they do all this kind of stuff, you can kind of say, yeah, great for you, but that doesn't really work. I mean, just for an example, when I started live streaming, so this is not a medical example, but a live streaming example, people told me what I should do and how it worked and what I had to do and how I was going to do my monetization of live streaming and all this kind of stuff. And I'm listening, okay, so you got to have 1 million followers, you got to do this. You cannot do that until you have all this together, right? Well, I said, okay. And they just kind of looked at me and I said, but I've already monetized all my live streams. I've already done all that. And I have like 5 listeners. And they're like, what? Because I was ignorant enough and I guess, innocent enough that I had no idea how it worked. So I just did it. And so I think a lot of times people need to pick themselves up and just do what they feel passionate and purpose to do, move forward. And that helps protect you. I think God has given us those boundaries to help protect us from what everybody else says we have to do, because that brings so much pressure. People on you telling you how things are going to go and what you need to do brings so much pressure. And I think that's why when people try to live up to expectations, that's when burnout happens.
Yeah, for sure. You also just elucidated a very good point here, which is when we get stuck in the how, you're like, oh, I have to know how to do this before I do it. A lot of times that leads to so much inaction. And when you just say, okay, I'm just going to go ahead and do all of these things, maybe that is the path to 1 million followers, right? If you just stayed in hiding and tried to do things the quote unquote traditional way and didn't try new things and didn't put yourself out there, maybe you don't even get off the ground, right? Maybe you just stay on the runway waiting for things to pick up for yourself and it never happens. But when you just put yourself out there and you're like, I don't know the perfect way to do this, and I don't necessarily know all the quote unquote rules, I'm just going to put myself out there and I'm going to do it anyway. Maybe that is exactly the right path for you. But when you don't put yourself out there, you never find out. So good for you for just going for it and just doing it, right? And it all worked out.
Well, I'm one of those kind of people. So I just forge ahead, right? I just bust out and do it. And that's just my personality. But, I have found that has served me well in life too, because yes, do I make mistakes? Sure. Yes. Do I have problems sometimes? Absolutely. Do I have to learn and grow through everything I'm doing? You betcha I do. But I feel like life is the best teacher. And if you don't start, you're going to have troubles right off the bat. My number one, when I first started my business, I did 5 steps to connection, to people connecting. And the number one was start, because we think about it, we worry about it, we mull about it. When we're trying to connect with people, we're trying to do marketing, whatever we're trying to do, we're thinking through everything, but we're not doing it. And so it's like, come on, people, just do it. Oh, yeah, but I might make a mistake or somebody might laugh at me. Oh, well, who cares? I mean, it's just like, you know what? it's good to want to have people think highly of you, but there's a point when you just got to stop caring about what people are thinking about you and saying about you. And if you know what you're doing is right and you within your purpose and your lane of what you're going to do it. Just jump in and do it.
It's also how you frame what you call a mistake or a failure, right? Because sometimes some of the best learning opportunities are in those things that you might initially see as a mistake or a failure. So you put yourself out there, it doesn't work, in whatever way, but you learn so much. And if you never give yourself the opportunity to start and make those mistakes and experience those failures, then you never learn, right? You can look at other people's success story, but maybe yours doesn't translate in exactly the same way. Maybe they found success in this one way, but that's not your path. But until you start trying and putting yourself out there and doing these different things, you're never going to know. And that, I have to say, was a really difficult lesson for me to learn, right? Again, when you are a high achieving professional and you've done all of these things and you have all of these expectations that everything you do has to be a success, it's very hard to kind of put yourself out there to try new things and to just fall on your face in the process. And that happens to all of us as you go out on these new journeys, as you set these new goals, you're gonna fall on your face. And can you pick yourself up, learn from that opportunity, and then keep going? And that, I think that is just the key to all of this.
Oh, I completely agree with you. And I think that I love the baseball analogy. So, a good Major League Baseball player is going to fail almost 70% of the time. Now, yes, you have to frame this in failure in the right range. Some people say, "Oh, there's no such thing as failure. I only think of good." Okay, so you don't do good, you whatever you want to call it, but they're swinging and missing. Things are happening, and they have to pick themselves up, go back out the next time, and do it again. And what I say to people is just keep on swinging, because every miss, you're that much closer to the next person the next make in your business or your life, whatever you're doing. And you're that much closer to the next big hit. And people sometimes just give up too soon because it's hard on them. And sometimes it can be really hard, but you just got to hang in there and you just got to keep moving in everything you're doing. And remember that you have value and that it's okay to have these struggles in life. And like back to what you said at the beginning, Michael, you're not alone. And by bringing people together in community and doing the things you're doing through your podcasting and your writing and you're coaching people too, right?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. Yeah. You're helping people out to realize this is just part of life's journey, but it's okay. But you're going to come out on the other side and going to be all right.
Yeah. I'm so glad you brought it back to community, because that's exactly where I was going to go with this. Because your human brain can make so much of the quote unquote failures, of the things that don't go well. But when you surround yourself with a community, when you surround yourself with people who like, and trust, who have your back at all times, no matter what, it makes those mistakes and those failures so much easier, because you're surrounded by cheerleaders, by people that are kind of rooting for you and saying like, great job. You did so great putting yourself out there and trying this thing. And, you're going to get it next time, and it's the same thing as your baseball analogy, right? You've got this stadium full of fans that even if you strike out, you've still got people cheering for you and waiting, for you to come up to bat again the next time. So, it just gets right back to your message of the importance of community.
Well, and one thing that you say there, and everybody cheering for you, is people don't realize that this is happening to everybody around us. Anybody who is lying about that everything is perfect for them and things are great, or if that's the image they're putting out there, none of us, that hasn't happened for any of us. No matter how good we are, no matter how great things are going on in our life, we're still all having struggles, we're still all having challenges, and it's okay, because that refines us, makes us better. Realizing we're not alone brings us back together, and community helps us to lift each other up. And really the bottom line is that this is this is life and you have to decide your perspective, right? I'm all about live the life you choose, the subtitle of my book. It's developing that good perspective that it's okay to trip up. It's okay to have these things happen, but you got to just move beyond that. And like we said, keep on swinging and things are going to get better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's, I think the interesting thing about social media is that in general, it is so curated, right? So you do see all the best of everyone.
Right.
And I think that, for me, when we talk about like kind of being fully out there, allowing yourself to fail, it's also about, leaning into the vulnerability of being real and being genuine and showing people that it's not all, beautiful sunsets and amazing flowers. And, that's not life. And giving people a window into some of the struggle, that is, I think, where I have found some of my greatest connections and community, is being able to share those tougher times and being real and vulnerable with other people. That was such a vital part of kind of my kind of moving forward through burnout to kind of the next phase of my life and my career.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with that. And I think that the point of authenticity and the point of vulnerability in life is, the willingness to really be just open up your life and say, hey, things are going on, but it's okay. And this is what's going on in my life. I've gone through this cancer battle in the last 7-8 months of my life. And when it first happened, because I've developed this amazing community. Thank you everybody for being here. And this amazing community of people that cared and wanted to know. And so I put out some information. I was a little vulnerable about what was going on. And what happened, I was able to encourage people because showing them that I was going through this and I was going to be okay. But then they in turn were encouraging me. And it was just an amazing thing. And that's what makes life so much better, when we come together and we just really bless and help each other through the bad times and celebrate the good times together. That's where the magic happens, right? That's where the magic happens, and we can really make a difference together.
Yeah. And I'm glad you brought up the celebrating each other, right? Because we kind of were focused a little bit on picking yourself up after the failure, but also remembering to celebrate all of the wins and the good stuff. That is not
Right.
where the human brain goes, right? The human brain like focuses on the negative, right? 40,000 to 60,000 thoughts a day, 80 to 90% repetitive, 80 to 90% negative, and remembering to focus on the good stuff, on the positive, on the wins. It takes practice.
Oh, yeah.
I'm certainly not perfect at it. But focusing on the wins and the gratitude, it makes all the difference. It's like training your brain to kind of see the other side.
Well, it takes intentionality, because we have to do exactly what you're saying. We have to intentionally choose to do that, create good habits in our life, do things in a positive way to create that whole mindset. And I'm all about positive self-talk. Every morning before I get up, I talk to myself. Those negative thoughts flood your brain no matter how positive you are, right? You wake up worrying about things. Oh, what's going to happen today? But if you positively speak to yourself and you say, hey, you know what? I'm just grateful for the good things in life. And then I tell myself, you know what? I've got this. God has given me talents and abilities to overcome this today and move forward. And then the last thing I always tell myself every day is today's going to be awesome. And I'm a 4 a.m. guy. So most people laugh at me when I say that, because they're like, 4 a.m. I'm snoring and I don't think life is awesome. But, for me, that's just an example of what I do to shape that positive mindset, move myself towards and celebrating the wins. Even if it's just me celebrating my own, it's helping me shape that positive outlook on life. So, you know what? We could go on forever, Michael, but we have to wrap it up today. And I wanted to give you a chance to give your last words, your gold nugget for the day, and then tell everybody how they get in touch with you, because I know people are going to want to connect with you, learn more, get involved in your podcast, do all that. So take it away.
Well, just thank you so much again for the opportunity, for chatting with me today. I've loved this discussion. I think the biggest takeaway here, and one of the things that I've taken away so much over the last couple of years of my personal coaching journey, is just the importance of vulnerability. And we touched on it a little bit today, but allowing yourself to be real and open with other people. That I feel like for the majority of my life, I was kind of hiding. And I think over the last couple of years have enabled myself to be more real, to be more open. And it has changed everything for me. And it's not easy, and it does take work, and it does require intentionality, just like you were just talking about. But it's some of the most important work I've ever done. So that's, I think, my biggest key takeaway. If you're interested, if you like what you're hearing here, I did just launch that new podcast that we were talking about earlier. It's called Doctors Living Deliberately. There's a YouTube channel by the same name, and the podcast is everywhere you download your podcast. You can find it there. And again, that's with my co-host, Dr. Arpita Gupta De Palma. My coaching, you can find me on my website, which is betterphysicianlife.com. And I'm on all the social media platforms, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. So I'd love for you to reach out and let me know what you think.
That is so awesome. Well, I'm excited right now to be able to learn more about you. I'm going to tune into your podcast. Super excited about all that you got going because, you and I, even though we come from different professions, we have such a similar mindset. We're so tied into the same thing. And that's what I think people need to realize. It doesn't really matter where you're coming from. It matters where you're going. What's your purpose? Why are you trying to be out there in life? Why are you a doctor? Why are you a marketer? Why are you who you are? And I think when you realize that, that is when, like we say, the magic happens because things come together. We find common ground. We find common areas where we can bless and help each other out. And I think that is when you overcome burnout, when you overcome the anxieties and things of life, because we're all rising together. I love that old quote, we rise together. It's true. Instead of finding differences, instead of finding the problems in life, we celebrate, we find the good things in life, and we move forward together in a positive way. So I just appreciate you. We're going to have you back on because we need to talk some more. So yeah, thank you so much. I also have a Russ Reels show tonight at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Tonight it's on social media. If you guys want to tune in, I have an amazing cast of characters of guests tonight. We have 7 amazing people on the show to talk about that. But Michael, we're going to do one on burnout coming up, and you and Dr. Nupi are definitely going to be on that show. And I will send out information to you on that. But anyway, I'm going to say goodbye for now. Hang tight in the green room, and I'll see you in just a second. But thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you again so much for having me. I've had such a great time. Thank you.
You bet. You bet. Well, listen, everybody. Wow, it goes so fast. Just woo. I know. And sometimes Nupi would tell me to go longer, but you know what? I really value your time. And I also love to leave you wanting more because I want you to reach out to Michael. I want you to find out about what he's doing. Listen to his podcast, connect with him, talk with him. That makes all the difference in the world when you intentionally actually connect, not just contact, connect with people, learn about them, and they can learn about you. So thank you so much, everybody. You're such a blessing. Thanks for everybody for being here today. All of Michael's contact information is in the show notes and the comments. And as you've seen, it's ticking below us on the screen as well. And so I just appreciate each one of you. Hope that you guys have a chance to come to Russ Reels Live tonight. Dr. Nupi will be on that show. And so will 6 other amazing people, Russ Johns, Tisha, I can't remember everybody's going to be on the show. Tim Sohn is going to be on that show. Gail Robertson. There's a ton of great, amazing people. So join us tonight on that. And don't forget, we're here every Monday and Thursday on Marketing with Russ, aka #RussSelfie, for your viewing and listening pleasure. Just want to tell you how much it means to me, all of you that are here. Bless you for connecting with me and others in the comments. I do want to say #1000 thanks. Don't forget to keep thanking people. Be grateful for life and all that we have. And I think that's it for today. So until we see you again, which is next Monday, 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Have a great day and a great life. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Thanks for joining us for this week's episode of Marketing with Russ, aka #RussSelfie. Be sure to subscribe in your favorite podcast app so that you don't miss a single episode. Have an amazing day.